Hello everyone, and welcome back to Early Years Explorers, where we celebrate curiosity, tiny humans, and teachers who silently scream inside when a beautiful learning invitation gets destroyed in 10 seconds. I'm your host, Afaf Zayden, and today we're talking about something that looks simple on Instagram, but in real life, well, let's just say the behind the scenes look a little different. Today's episode, setting up meaningful learning invitations. So let's dive in. Hi, and thanks for joining me. So in this first part, we're talking about the learning invitation. What does that mean? A learning invitation is exactly that. It's no fluff, nothing. It's just an invitation. It's not an instruction manual. It's not us saying, do this in this way, because this is the correct order. It's more like a gentle whisper. Come over here and explore this. Why don't you touch that? Try this. Let's see what happens. And honestly, children will see what happens, even if that means turning your beautifully arranged provocation into a dinosaur habitat within 3 seconds. But that's part of the magic. A meaningful learning invitation isn't a Pinterest board recreation that took you 45 minutes to set up, or a look, don't touch display, because this defies the purpose, or a worksheet wearing a pretty dress pretending to be open-ended. True learning invitations give children ownership, choice, and freedom. It says, you decide how to explore this. Your thinking matters here. And this isn't just a cute or thinking outside the box approach. It's grounded in research. According to Reggio Emilia philosophy, the environment should provoke thinking and support children's theories, not tell them what to think or how to think. Loris Malaguzzi, one of Reggio's key thinkers, even called the environment the third teacher, because the setup itself communicates possibilities. So when we design or create a learning invitation, we're not creating an activity. We're creating a conversation between the child, the materials, and their own ideas. So why do meaningful invitations matter? Listen up, because this is the justification of why all that time you spend arranging loose parts is actually worth it. You see, meaningful invitations support children's learning in ways that go far beyond keeping them busy. They ignite real cognitive, social, emotional, and creative growth, even when it looks like organized chaos, or let's be honest, just plain chaos. Let me break it down. Cognitive development. Open-ended play strengthens executive function, the fancy term for all those crucial skills like planning, flexibility, and problem solving. According to Harvard's Center on the Development Child, children develop these skills best through play that requires thinking and decision-making, not step-by-step tasks. So when a 4-year-old is trying to balance 3 wobbly blocks and announces, "It keeps falling because a dinosaur is stomping somewhere," they're not being dramatic. They're testing cause and effect. They're predicting outcomes and adjusting their strategy. Language development. When children explore together, they naturally describe what they're doing. They negotiate roles and ask questions. They explain their ideas and narrate their play. Vygotsky would be proud because it's his theory that told us that learning happens through social interactions. So that moment when 2 children spend 10 minutes discussing whose turn it is to use the scoop, yes, it might test your patience, but it's also deeply valuable language development in action. Creativity. One of the best parts of open-ended invitations, there is no right answer. Studies show that when children work with materials that don't dictate an outcome, they build divergent thinking. That's the foundation of real creativity. This is why giving children a tray of loose parts often result in a robot, a birthday cake, a rocket ship, and something they swear is a rainbow dinosaur house. It's creativity, and it's unlocked. Emotional regulation. Deep, focused play actually helps children calm the nervous system. This is why a child swirling paint in slow circles for 20 minutes might look like they're zoning out. But actually, they're regulating their emotions and grounding themselves. So while you're wondering, are they ever going to paint something or anything? Just please, for the love of God, remove the brush out of the paint and paint something for me. The answer is, they already are. They're painting their own way back into calm. Now, in meaningful invitations, there's certain elements that you kind of need to follow. Let me break this down. What actually makes a learning invitation meaningful is not just pretty or Pinterest-worthy. You have to ask your question. Does it have a purpose? Before setting up anything, ask yourself, what might the children learn or explore here? If your honest answer is, it's a good photo opportunity, then congratulations. You've just identified a teacher trap. It's okay. We've all been there. There's no judgment. I have several photo-worthy opportunities in my camera roll right now. A meaningful invitation has intention behind it, even if the play itself becomes wonderfully unpredictable. The second one, is it following the child's interests? This one is the golden rule. It requires you to observe first. If your class is currently obsessed with dinosaurs, roaring, stomping, pretending every corner of the classroom is Dino Land, well, then that won't be the week to roll out the delicate flower arranging invitation. Because guess what? By 7:30, depending on what time you start, give you a half an hour interval, the dinosaurs will be eating the flowers and they'll be running through the garden. And one child will be shouting, "The T-Rex needs more flowers." Follow their lead. It makes life easier and far more entertaining. Aesthetics matter. So there needs to be beauty and order. And no, it's not just because adults like things to look nice. I mean, God knows I love to have the perfect Pinterest classroom, but it's never that way. But research in early learning environments shows that children engage longer when materials are organised, they're uncluttered and thoughtfully arranged. Beautiful materials invite respect, or at least most of the time. Because for every calm, focused child carefully placing beads in a tray, there's another one enthusiastically dumping the entire basket onto the floor just to see what happens. Both are valid forms of inquiry. One just needs more breath than the other. Open-endedness. What does that mean? In this context exactly? Well, here's the simple test. If all children's work should look the same, then it's a craft. If every child might do something totally different, then that's the invitation. Open-endedness gives children agency, ownership, and honestly, far less stress for the adults. Let go of the product, because who cares what it looks like in the end? You need to lean into the process, because that's what matters. And allow some time to revisit. A powerful learning invitation isn't a one-day wonder. Children need time to come back, test new ideas, revise their theories, and notice patterns. Deep learning comes from repetition, not constant novelty. If adults need newness to stay engaged, children need familiarity to go deeper. So feel free to leave that provocation up for a few days. Yes, even that one corner of the classroom that looks like maybe it's overloved by day 3. Okay, so here's some classroom stories for you. The first one is the construction invitation that turned into a hospital. So I once set up a simple block invitation with hard hats and vests. It was very cute, very intentional. Within minutes, it evolved into so many things. It went from a skyscraper to a police station, and then finally it became a hospital because one of the babies needed to go to the hospital because he was sick. The blocks became the bed, the vest became the blanket. Did I plan that? Absolutely not. Was it meaningful learning? Yes, definitely, 100% meaningful. They were negotiating roles, solving structural problems, and using language with purpose. Here's another one. This one I like to call the watercolor calm. That wasn't calm at all. Now, usually a watercolor invitation brings peace, right? Nope, not on this day it didn't. I had 2 children who started adding so much water that the paper tore. Instead of stopping them, I was really itching to stop them. I probably said it in a firm voice as well. So what's happening to the paper right now? One replied, "It's melting." An answer I had never expected. But it was a perfect moment of inquiry. And research supports this. Children learn more when teachers narrate and scaffold instead of correcting immediately. I was itching. Here's a final classroom moment. This was the sensory invitation gone wild. I had a tray of rice, scoops, and funnels that was beautifully inviting and peaceful until someone decided the rice needed to travel. Because of course, why not? And they were taking it across the room to the home corner. Now, when I asked why, he said, "We're making majbous. This is a traditional cutlery dish." Honestly, fair point. I had to give it to them. I couldn't even argue that one. Now, in this next part, we're talking about practical tips. How to make your invitations foolproof. You need to start small. 1 tray, 3 materials, that's enough. Use real, beautiful materials when possible. Children treat them with more care, and research supports that too. Stand back and watch. Your silence is their thinking space. Document learning through photos and videos because that's where the magic is. This honors their thinking and it guides your next steps. Refresh, don't restart. Add a new color or a tool or a question. Keep the learning alive. Follow the children, not the trend. If the children lose interest, the invitation is done. Even if it took you an hour to set up, believe me, it's not personal. So now we've got to the final part of this, and here's some takeaways for you. The best invitations aren't perfect. They're responsive, they're thoughtful, and they're rooted in children's interests. And yes, sometimes they fail, but those moments often spark the best discoveries. Children don't need perfect setups. They need opportunities to think, explore, and feel trusted. Thank you for joining me for episode 15 of Early Years Explorers. If today's episode made you laugh, inspired you, or reminded you of your own Pinterest versus reality moments, then my job here is officially done. Remember, it's never about the perfect invitation. It's about the meaningful learning that happens when children take the lead, even if it looks nothing like what you set up 5 minutes earlier. Until next time, keep exploring, keep observing, and keep embracing the beautiful chaos of early years learning.